So what I kind of wanted to get into was just, you know, this whole world of social media has been a very interesting learning experience for myself and for a ton of musicians starting to use it, especially in recent times, as like their main way of communicating who they are and what they're about. It's their main voice. And I think you've done it in a very, like I said earlier, an honest way. You don't shy away from expressing how you feel. You don't shy away from someone coming at you with maybe something that's aggressive or intense or contrary to what you believe. So can you just talk about how you approach criticism and all of these things? Because I even have a great quote, you know, you talk about coming into your house, you know? So I would just love to hear your approach of how you approach criticism and basically social media as a platform.
Well, I don't approach criticism in any way. Criticism is something that I can't control and don't want to. Anybody can say anything about me that they want to. As for example, on this interview, people will have opinions and stuff, and they're welcome to them. I mean, I'm as free speech as they come, and nobody is nobody's going to be controlled, and you can say whatever you're going to say. I had a very interesting moment with my kids when they were younger, actually, and they were, you know, I think they were in middle school or something like that, and you know, and middle school is a tough time. You know, middle school is a tough time for kids. You know, it's like that transitional. You're not a teen and you're not a kid.
Tumultuous, yeah.
It's weird, man. It's like you're like this like weird middle. That's why they call them middle. You're like you're not in high school. You're not in elementary. You're not like a little kid. You're not riding tricycles anymore, and you can't. You know, it's a weird time. And you know, it's a lot of like self-reflection and a lot of vulnerability. And I think it was my daughter who said, literally, she said, she was like getting, you know, crap or something like that. And she goes, "What do you know about it? You're Tommy Igoe. Everybody loves you." And I went, "Oh," I said, "I know." And I said, it's very, very easy to be me. I said, "You're right." I said, "Come here." I said, "Let's go to YouTube." And, you know, there's thousands of videos of me playing on YouTube or whatever. And I said, "I'm going to scroll my finger and you stop it wherever you want on whatever video. So it doesn't matter." And she goes, "Bam." All right, we stopped it. I said, "Good." I said, "Let's take a look at that one." It has about 250 comments, right? And I said, "Let's take a look at the comments." Right now, it's not my video. Somebody else. I have no idea what we're going to see. I have no idea. I don't know the video. I don't know the comments, but I do know that there will be somebody on there saying that I suck, have no business playing the drums, and I should hang it up. Because humans. That's why. All right? So I said, let's start reading them. First one's like, Tommy rocks. Tommy's great. Tommy sucks so bad, I can't believe he's even here. Why doesn't he go die under a rock? Right? And she looked at it, she went, and I said, "How about that?" She goes, "Wow, that's just one person." I said, "Well, let's keep going." 10 comments down. "God, this guy sucks so bad. He looks like a big giraffe eating a peanut butter bag or something like that." And she was just like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Uh-huh." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Now," I said, "let's name your favorite artist of all time." I said, and she said, "I don't know, let's just pick an artist that like she loves. Like say Beyonc." Right? And she goes, "Let's say Beyonc." And she goes, and I said, "Everybody loves Beyonc, right?" Right? And she goes, "Well, duh, yeah." And she goes, I said, "Let's go. Let's see how long it takes to find somebody who just can't wait to hate." And I went, boom. I said, and she goes, they're not even talking about the video. They're just talking about like her, like not even what they're seeing. I said, exactly. And it was starting to get on her.
Right.
I said, "Yeah." I said, "And everybody's entitled to their opinion." I said, and she goes, "Doesn't it bother you?" And I said, "No." I said, because I said, I asked for it. I asked for it. I said, if you create and you share, you ask for it. Okay? Now that's the truth. If you create and you share it, you ask for it. Okay? Now that's the truth. Now let's talk about social media in general. Okay? So I only participate in personal page-based social media, right? Instagram and Facebook, right? because I am curating those pages. I am building them. I consider them digital houses that I've built. You've built your digital house. Yours is JazzMemes. That's your house. You built it. You built it, and you build it every day. Every day you're adding a floor. Every single day, and it's your house. When we talk about social media, and we talk about, and you know, here's the thing: is that 95% of everybody is totally cool. And you run a page, you have more people than you do on my page. How many are you up to now? How many hundreds of thousands?
138 or something.
Yeah, I'm at 70. So like we have a good test
pool to draw from.
Yeah, we have enough to play with, right? To get a thing. And as you know, by far and away, the majority of people are totally cool.
100%.
Like they're awesome people, right? But that's not what we're talking about. Okay, we're talking about your name at the top or your curate. Now, mine says my name is on the top. It's my thing, right? And what has been happening in social media, and I don't know, I am not going to get into politics, but I do know that we had a shift at the top in the United States in terms of who's running the place, and I am seeing a change in demeanor online. I do believe that everything flows from the top. I've always believed that. Okay. And you could not have a different leader at the top than with the one that we've had in terms of restraint, class, and using social media in a different way. That's all I'm going to say. So as we're moving forward from 2016 to where we are now, which is in 2020, around 2018, I'm starting to see a change. I'm starting to see more poison, more direct toxic. I'm seeing more people coming into my house who aren't using their real name and have, you know, Drumdick 66, you know, whatever, and that's their handle. And it's a private account. They have nothing to show. They don't do anything. It's just coming in and poison and run, hitting poison, run, poison, run. You know, they're not staying for community. They're not supporting anybody else. They're not talking to anyone else. They're coming in, they're shit posting, and then they're leaving. All right. I'm seeing more and more of that. I'm also seeing more sexist comments with a girl who will play drums, or a young woman, depending on the age. And they will sexualize her body rather than listening to the music that they're playing. I'm seeing that more and more and more. I'm seeing young boys and young men who are playing, and I'll post something from them, and they maybe are not strong yet, and they don't hit necessarily strong yet. They don't have a strong sound yet, and they will use a sexually derogatory term to call that person loud and proud in front of everyone in my house. Now, I'm going to say that again. They are doing that in my house. It's my house. And no one has any membership is free. You have one rule: don't be an asshole. That's it. That's all you got to do. Don't be an asshole. And if you come in and you do that, and you basically, it's the metaphor of like you coming in, dropping your pants, and pooping on the floor in my house. If you did that in real life, you'd be gone. And if you do it in my social media house, you're gone. One strike. Now, it's taken me a while to get there. And the reason people are talking about it now is because there was an inflection point. Should I continue on? Am I talking too much?
Yeah, no, this is great. This is great, Tom. This is exactly what I want to hear.
The reason I'm doing this is because I want people to, and I started a hashtag called Your Page, Your Rules. Your page, your rules. And it's caught fire. There's a lot of people have changed the way they insist on decorum in their house. When I started this campaign, it was exactly a year ago, by the way. People were very resistant to they're like, well, I don't want to lose a follower. I don't want to lose a fan. And who am I to say like what they can say? And I'm like, what happened to us?
Yeah.
What happened to us? Especially now, like with everything that's going on with, you know, Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, all these things that are happening. If something like right now, it's a very good point. It's a great time to talk about this, because now it's like we have this giant mirror that we're faced to look in. We have to look at it. And it's happening right now. History is being made. And if somebody comes in and spots some neo-Nazi bullshit on your page, are you going to freaking try to talk it down out of that tree? Are you kidding? Listen, those thoughts are baked before they came in. And I don't run racist rehab in my house. I am not in any way trying to, like, it's like, well, why don't you engage with them? I was like, are you kidding? Where do you start with Hitler was right? Where do you start?
Yeah.
There's no place to start. And I am not pretending that there is. And I do not even pretend that I have the power or the knowledge or the intelligence to try to spin these guys back down to where they are even human again. I can't even try, because I did, and it doesn't work. And then what happened was, like, when I engage with someone like that, they start mob sourcing friends, and then they start using my page as a point to start to.
Been there. Yeah.
So that happens a lot with young men. So I did so in 2019, I did a bit of, I threw a grenade into my social media, which is I did a 10-week experiment. I didn't tell anybody I was doing it. So what happened was, I put up, we were doing I think we were doing a tribute to somebody or something like that. And these, what I found out were they're all boys. These are all boys, like young boys.
Yeah.
And they come in and they just, like, light my page on fire. Like, because they don't like whatever is going on. They don't like it. And it's like, and I'm like, oh my God, they've organized outside on a Reddit page or something like that. And they said, let's go here and light it up. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, this is actually happening. And now people are starting to say, like, wow, like what's he gonna do? Meaning me. What am I gonna do? All right. And I realized that, like, there was nobody, and I couldn't believe it. I took it was like I woke up. I had this moment, we can talk about that later, where educationally, I had an epiphany about 2013, 14, where I called myself a fraud educationally. And because I was being called all these things as, like, cutting edge teacher, or, you know, blah, 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 all these best-selling books, he's changing the way we're blah, blah, blah. And I looked in the mirror and I was just like, you are none of those things. You're a fraud. And I blew up my teaching practice. And that's when I became cutting edge, from that moment. Because I could not look at myself in the mirror anymore and hear those things that people were saying about me and listen to them and think they were right in any way whatsoever, because they were all wrong. I was a fraud. And then when I had that moment, that's when everything really changed for me educationally and where I'm at now. So I had that same kind of epiphany in 2019. I looked in the mirror and I was like, man, you are doing it all over again. You are a fraud. There is no one leading, nobody. And that was when I started this 10-week experiment. And I started amplifying their hate, broadcasting it, seeing what happened, started banning people, deleting them. And there was this gigantic backlash. And again, it's all young boys, beginning college, high school, and they had a absolute fit. And I didn't tell anybody I was doing this. I just did it because I wanted the raw data. And by raw data, I wanted to find out who these people were. All right. And basically what I found out was that these were children without adult supervision. I talked to them on the phone. They actually called me. I said, I need to talk to you. I said, some of the worst offenders. I said, you can star 66, whatever. So I said, will you let me talk? And they were like, yeah. So, and I found out 14 years old, 15 years old, 16 years old. Those are the people who are coming in. And it was it was eye-opening to me. Yeah. I started to understand what was going on. And I was like, okay, basically what we need is like, you know, we need a man to act like a man and say, this is no, absolutely not here. You can go do that. I can't stop you from screenshotting and saying anything you want about me, but you will not disrespect this house. And that's all it took. Yeah. Now we're 1 year later, and I lost about 5,000 people. And this is going to tie a bow around the story for everybody hearing me, so they can listen to the ending of this story and do it yourself. I lost 5,000 people, and I gained 30. I mean, there it is. Those 5,000 people who split and left, I don't hold any animosity towards them at all. I want them happy. I want them to be where they should be, and they should not be following me. And then those other 30,000 people who came in, they want that positivity. They want that space where they know that crap is not going to be tolerated.
Yeah.
And that all it is making the choice. Make the choice. Moderate your house. You deserve respect in your house. Everybody listening to me right now, you deserve respect in your house. You deserve it. You deserve it. All you got to do is claim it.
Amen. Man, you're preaching to the choir. We've been there, and it's actually so relieving to hear that other people out there have gone through that. And man, I haven't even talked to anyone about that who can understand on that level what you're talking about.
Yeah. It's like, it's a thing. And what I want to try to do is just like I'm sure your story, I'd love to hear what happened with you guys too. We have to talk about what's going on. Now the advice, and can I say one more thing on this just to tie it out?
Go right ahead. We're free.
I'm going to say another thing, and I hope everybody's really listening to me. The advice that they have given us is wrong. The advice that they have given us is wrong when they say, ignore the trolls. It just makes them stronger. The advice they've given us is wrong. The reason they exist is because we ignore them. And if we can, listen, we live jazz, drums, small families, small, and everybody talks, small families. And what kind of stewards are we if we don't respect ourselves enough to manage our pages? What do you think our mentors and the gods who came before us, the giants whose shoulders we're standing upon, what would they think of us?
Yeah.
Not very much.
No,
not very much at all.
Would they have allowed someone to walk up to them and say anything that these trolls would say, walk up literally every day and say to us?
Right.
And we just say,
exactly, 100%. And to people who say, well, this isn't real life, I reject that. Because social media is now becoming such an ingrained part of ourselves that our brains are becoming rewired to think this is real life. And if you don't believe me, look at the data. My wife is a high school administrator. She sees, and she's on the ground. She is the troops on the ground. She is on the beach at Normandy. She is seeing what is happening as the incoming freshmen come in, and she is seeing the changes that are happening to them with each incoming class and how it's changing small humans.
Yeah.
It is changing all of us. And I told my daughter the other day, I said, look, we're the test case. I said, all of us, we are all the test case for this. I said, but especially you. And I said, and in 15 years, you'll be 30 and the data will be in. And I said, and I don't think it's going to be really pretty. I said, you have to be really, really cognizant of what this is doing to you. You got to know what this is doing to you.
Yeah.
Be cognizant, be aware.
I think you're talking, well, and what you're saying is it's becoming so habitual that it's harder and harder to have that awareness because it's not even considered a separate act. Like I go to my instrument and then now I'm in that mode. It's like, no. This is like within probably 2 feet of me at every moment of the entire day, 24/7. So how are you going to be aware of it as a separate thing?
I don't know, man.
Not that any of us have.
I don't know. That's a great. These are the questions. When I say the data is going to come in, it's going to come in.
Yeah.
We're going to see. We've already seen data that it's harder for young people to form in-person relationships. We're seeing this data that's coming in that people are having a hard time making an in-person connection. Because this thing is the connection. And listen. There's nothing wrong at all. As I keep saying over and over again, there's nothing wrong with kids today. I say this all the time. This is not some, like, you know, get off my lawn moment from an old guy. That's not it. I work with kids every day. This is what I do, you know, and there's nothing wrong with kids today. Absolutely nothing. So if there's a kid listening to this and you think I'm saying there's something wrong with you, I'm not at all. What I'm saying is this is powerful. What I'm saying is that this is affecting everyone, not just you, but everyone. But you are a kid and you're 15, 16, 17, 18. This is having a different impact on you than it is having on someone like me, because you're at the beginning of your journey.
Yeah. And
your brain is still forming, and your front temporal lobe is not done yet, and your decision-making process is not finished yet. Listen, to all the little punks who have screwed around on my page and every other page and said crap that, like, look, I feel nothing but sympathy, because I am just so absolutely grateful that this was not around when I was a kid, because I can't even imagine what I would have said. Yeah. I can't even imagine, like, in the heat of a moment, you probably would just go spew, you know, like, and you just say, and it's because you don't have control. You don't have control of yourself. You're not, listen, this is why they let 23-year-old men and women fly F-16s, but they don't let them decide what to shoot at. The generals who are 60 years old give them the targets. But they don't. Those old men can't fly the F-16 because they need those cat-like reflexes. There's a reason why mentors and students need each other. There's a reason why. There is a reason why, and we're seeing it literally on social media. Mentors, students, we need each other. We make things better together.